A simple protocol conversion. Carrying on from the last video, where we set up a simple streaming ACN signal input, now we're going to convert that signal into an OSC output. We start by setting up an OSC I/O connection. Next, we want to make the OSC an output only, and we can do this by disabling the input option by clicking on the button here. The OSC I/O connection also allows you to create multiple outputs, which you can add by clicking on the plus button here. Then I could send an output to a different IP, for example, and then this one could go to yet another address. And now I have multiple OSC outputs. Then, depending on what I want to do, I can send outputs to each individual OSC output here if I wanted to. Let's clear those, as all we need for this example is one single output. Another useful thing to know is there's a power button on the I/O connections. This completely disables this connection, overriding the settings over here temporarily. So if we click on the SACN power button, you can see it disables that input. And now you can see the fader here is no longer moving, as it's no longer receiving any data. Let's re-enable that. You can also enable it from the button on the inspector as well. Now we're going to look at how to send the data coming from our streaming ACN to the OSC output. We drag and drop from the OSC I/O connection here to the board and set that to be a sender. Then I need to define the path for this, so let's use /sp/float1. Once done, all we need to do is click and drag from the SACN value to the OSC value. And now I'm sending the value I'm receiving as SACN out to OSC. So that's how you do a very simple protocol conversion. What if you want to do something extra to this process? Let's add a ranger to this, which we can use to rearrange the values. Say we want to change the 0 to 1 range to be 150 to 255. Now we've done that, you can see the output now only goes between 150 and 255. We can then connect up the OSC sender, and now the output values have changed to this new range of values. This is how you start building the logic paths for managing your data. Let's build a more complex example, starting by adding something like an absolute value, or maybe a sign of that value, then a mod of it. After that, it could go into the absolute value and finally back into the ranger. So you can see here we can build quite a complex logic path using the nodes in the system.